Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are the Skillio team, Mirna, Malak, Amani, Abdulrahman, Khalid, and Farida, and we're honored to present to you our final presentation. We'd also like to thank Dr. Ali Al-Buluk, our supervisor, for her guidance, and Siemens for collaborating with us throughout this journey. Now, let me introduce you to another very important character in our project. Let's all meet Omar. Omar is 22. Fresh out of university, full of ambition, and just like thousands of Egyptian freelancers, he wants to start freelancing. Not someday, not after he figured things out. He wants to start today. So he does what everyone does. He goes on YouTube and looks for skills to learn. Instantly, 200 different options flood his screen. AI tools suggest 20 more. WhatsApp groups urge him to learn everything. And Udemy ads scream, this is the only skill you need. So he tries to make sense out of all of this, but he still feels more disconnected, more overwhelmed, and more confused than ever. And the truth is, Omar isn't the exception. He is not special. He is the rule. He is the average Egyptian freelancer in 2025, having too many choices, no real guidance, and no real community at all. And when we looked deeper, we found this problem everywhere. Reports from companies like LinkedIn, UNDP, and Dell all pointed towards the same issue. Around 70% of youth feel overwhelmed by online learning choices. Nearly 65% don't know what skill to learn next, and almost everyone uses 4 different applications to get the basic learning support. So yes, AI, everyone today has AI, but AI isn't always the only solution on its own.
Now let me pose a question. What if instead of chaos, Omar had structure? What if instead of isolation, he had a community? And what if instead of 200 random options, he had one clear path? What if there was one platform that combines together real collaboration, real guidance, and real growth for Egyptian freelancers? A platform where AI supports you, but people grow with you. And this is exactly why we built Skillio. We built a platform based on how freelancers work and what their needs are, but even the best platforms are not efficient without a clear direction. And this is why we focused on building something freelancers consistently lack: personalized, data-driven guidance. Not generic recommendations or trending lists or recycled top skills of the years, but actual customized learning paths powered by your resume, your skills, your market, and your goals. But then comes the part that technology alone cannot solve: community. Freelancers need a space to ask, to answer the questions, to discuss, and to grow together. This is why we built Skillio, because this is what Omar has always been missing and exactly what millions have been needing all around.
So now the next question becomes, how do you actually turn these goals into a real platform? This became the core of our project. We started off by designing a set of microservices that would solve a problem freelancers may face. Every function had a purpose, and every service had would solve a focused pain point. The first service I'll be talking about is the authentication service. Here it handles all the user access. When a user wants to sign up, log in, or verify or recover their password, the front end sends a request to the authentication layer where it is able to send Cognito, AWS Cognito, for email verification, credential handling, as well as token generation. The Cognito then sends JWT tokens, which are used across the platform for the process and the identity in the identity layer. Now, for the second service I'll be talking about is the profile service. The profile service is where the user is able to develop its professional identity. Our main function for the profile service is that we have an AR resume parser, and it's when a user is able to upload their resume and then stored in the S3, and it's accessed by the AI to give a structured skills and experience in the profile item. Now, for the courses service, we developed it for continuous learning. We fetched courses from external APIs using their requirements as well as their pricing and their rating, and then we would redirect the user to the external provider. Now, for the courses service, something important is that we have a personalized recommendation depending on the user's profile and its skills. Now, for the thing that ties everything together is our AI service. The AI service takes the user's profile, Skillio's knowledge base, as well as the RAG pipeline to be able to give a user the personalized recommendations, such as recommending the skills, answering freelancing questions with context, and building a learning path specific for the user.
And once a user is set up, the next step is enabling interaction across the platform, starting with threads. This is the powerhouse of all structured discussions across the platform. It allows users to create new posts, reply in organized comment flows, and browse discussions by topics or tags. It becomes the main space for asking questions, sharing feedback, and exchanging progress. Next is the community service. This groups users into focused micro groups, depending on interest. Users can request to join existing communities or create new ones. It also integrates with our profile service to show member names and roles, so that each user can see who is in each community and what expertise they bring. Next is the notification service, providing real-time in-app notifications, depending if it's a reply, comment, or community activity. And also tracks read and unread states so users can keep track of what's new. And finally, the messaging service, allowing real-time communication between users. It manages message storage, timestamps, and chat history. Together, these form the interactive layer of our platform.
Now that you've seen what each service does for the user, let's look at how the whole system runs behind the scenes. Skillio is built as a cloud-native ecosystem of containerized microservices, not a single monolithic app. At the front, we use React and Vite to deliver a fast and reactive interface to the user, handling interactions like loading chats, updating profiles, browsing courses through API calls to our backend services. Behind the UI, every feature is powered by an independent Node.js microservice, all running on AWS Elastic Container Services. Each service, like authentication, threads, notification, and the AI assistant, has its own container, providing us with isolation, fault tolerance, and the ability to scale services independently. For data, we use Amazon DynamoDB as our main database. It stores user data, thread details, community info, and chat messages with low latency read and writes. Files like resumes and images go to AWS S3 for secure and durable object storage. Authentication is handled end-to-end by AWS Cognito, managing user pools, email verification, and JWT token issuance. Our AI layer runs on AWS Bedrock, handling embeddings, retrieval, and inference. All containers or all services are stored on AWS Elastic Container Registry, deployed on an ECS cluster, and backed by EC2 instances, giving us automated scalability and reliable compute. In simple terms, Skillio is built like a modern cloud product, fast at the front, modular in the middle, scalable at the back, and intelligent at the core.
Now let's take a closer look at our RAG ingestion pipeline. We start with our Amazon DynamoDB. It's where our structured data is. Next, this data is exported to our S3 bucket. This bucket acts as our central storage layer. After the data is exported successfully, then we go to the second stage, chunking. This is where big documents are broken down into smaller, meaningful chunks in order for our AI model to make more sense of it. And then these chunks are sent to our embedding model, which represents each piece of data into its numerical representation. And after that, they are stored in our vector database, which forms our AWS knowledge base, which we will later on use as our search engine. Now let's take a look at it from the user's perspective. A user types in a query through the front end. Then our AWS Bedrock agent is called through a back-end API call, and based on the user's query, it retrieves the relevant chunks from our knowledge base, and along with its generative reasoning, curates a response for the user's query, and then it gets reflected back to the user through the front end.
Okay, now beyond just building new features, we had to make sure we met a set of non-functional requirements, starting with scalability. All services are horizontally scalable through ECS, which means we can handle higher traffic by simply creating more containers. Next is high availability. Automatic load balances ensures all services are accessible at all times, even if individual instances or availability zones fail. For thirdly, we have security. We rely on Cognito for authentication, JWT verification for API access, and encrypted communication for user data protection. Next is fault tolerance, decoupled services, and relying on automatic container recovery ensure that if a service fails, it's independent from the rest of the system and gets restarted automatically. And finally, extensibility. We use the modular microservice architecture, which means we can add or create new features or services with minimal impact on existing components. And now let's move on to the demo.
Okay, as you can see here, we are trying to create an account by signing up. We get redirected to the login page using the same credentials we signed up with. Then we have here the uploading the resume function where the user uploads his resume and it gets scanned by AI. Fields are automatically filled and some fields are not filled. They have to be filled manually by the user. Then you can save the profile. We have the threads page. You can create a thread. This is the chats page. And since you don't have friends yet, we have to add a friend. So now we're going to log into a different account. All updates are real time. We can see the request has been received. We go back to the old account. Automatically received on the other account. And this is our AI chatbot, trained on the resume and the skills. So this is just an example. And now you can search in the threads, sort them, and even create one with specific tasks like discussions, job postings, or questions. Those are the micro communities. You can create a micro community and save it, and it will be shown automatically. And on the different account, you request to join this specific micro community, and then the owner of the community gets a notification that someone is trying to join this community. This is the courses pages showing the price, the description, the skills. And this is the profile where you can edit, add, or delete fields. Okay, so now after seeing how Skillio works, let's share some real engineering challenges we've faced. We began with a classic monolithic architecture, having one backend, one code base, and one database. But as the system expanded and cross-module dependencies piled up, the monolith became a bottleneck. Adding one feature meant touching unrelated parts of the same code base, and scaling one module meant scaling the entire system. And this led to a major architectural shift, decomposing Skillio into independently deployable microservices. And this did not mean just redesigning code or rewriting code. It meant redefining service boundaries, redesigning inter-service data flows, and adding JWT authenticated communication to make sure multiple autonomous services could communicate reliably together. Then came AWS. AWS was a completely new territory for us. No course teaches you how to deploy S3, DynamoDB, Cognito, ECS, Bedrock all together and make them work. And in between all that, we had to solve issues like cross-origin policies and API, unifying APIs from different team members. So we had to truly learn storage, networking, containers, and security. And on the subject of security, since Skillio handles resumes, chats, AI queries tied to identity, we had to make sure that we had strict IAM AWS roles, least privileged ECS execution for tasks, and private S3 buckets. Finally, one of our biggest challenges that we faced from the very beginning was not just meeting the requirements. The project description was very clear: implement an e-learning platform using AWS, and we built it cloud native and fully compliant. But we didn't want to stop here. We wanted to challenge ourselves, add more service, more layers to make the application way more beneficial.
Now let's talk about something just as important, how we made sure everything actually worked. We took testing from 3 different angles. First is the user and usability testing. We got students and freelancers and gave them the platform and started observing. Are they able to upload? Are they able to log in? Are they able to get the courses and the messages? We just had to make sure that how we can improve capability as well as making sure that the process was secure, fast, and intelligent. Then came the functional and integration testing. We have a lot of microservices, such as the messages, the AI bot, as well as the login and the authentication, and each of them were built on separately. We had to make sure that they all worked in the same workflow. So for example, when a user logs in, are they able to upload their resume and get guidance from the AI? We had to make sure. Another example we did, when a user adds another user, are they able to message one another and get notifications in real time? We had to make sure that all the services worked hand in hand. Then came the third form of testing, which was the performance, stress, and security testing. We stress tested with many concurrent users on different services to ensure stability. And then we security tested seeing the JWT tokens as well as the password handling and the safe uploads to ensure that everything was protected and safe. In conclusion, our goal for Skillio was simple. We wanted it to be effortless, secure, and reliable, even under real-world pressure.
So since day one, our Skillio was built with responsibility in mind. So first comes first is user privacy. Every resume, every profile, and every conversation is totally secure, encrypted, and would never be shared with anyone and would never be shared without their permission. Second is the unbiased AI, where our AI assistant would be able to give the beneficial and give all the guidance without any misleading, and we've worked so hard to make it 100% fair and to reduce any biasness. Third is our fair access, where Skillio is completely and one of the most accessible and affordable platforms out there for Egyptian youth, where they would be able to have their platform with not any limit with their currency barriers.
After testing every part of Skillio, from usability to performance, we wanted to make sure our impact extends beyond just the platform. Because at the end of the day, freelancers don't grow through features alone. They grow through people. That's why our empowerment outcome is community deployment. Skillio is now live at skillio.com, bringing freelancers together, supporting each other, and building the community ecosystem Egypt needs.
And since we really care about their growth and we care about notifying our freelancers, we are aiming to be more with our freelancers by launching a new mobile application where Skillio would be accessible to our freelancers throughout sending them notifications and making them have easier access throughout their messages and connect with their peers and community on the go, as well as browse their courses. Also, one of the premium tiers we have is the advanced AI insights. And these insights would dig deeper through our analytics, the freelancers' analytics, and all of these features with affordable, friendly, locally pricing, where our main goal is to give our ambitious youth access to world-class without world-class pricing tags.
Okay, now to wrap up, Skillio began with a very simple observation. Young freelancers did not fail because they lacked talent. They failed because they lacked support and a place to grow. And now, after months of building, breaking, rebuilding, and refining, we are standing here with something we are genuinely proud of. Not another feature list or another learning website, but a live integrated ecosystem built around the people it was meant to serve. And this is the future we are trying to build. Skillio is not here to enter the market. Skillio is here to change it. Thank you.